Hi crafty friends, today I want to do a little video showing you how to stencil over patterned cardstock. I love this technique. It gives subtle patterns just that little bit of extra oomph, and I love using this technique. So let's get into it, but first I want to show you the products that I am using. I am using the DSP, the Designer Series paper from Stampin' Up, called Regal Winter, and I am a huge fan of this paper pack. It has beautiful, rich tones, something that I don't normally gravitate towards, but for some reason I have absolutely fallen in love with this paper pack. Designer Series papers, I should say. Use the correct terminology, Julie. So this is one side, so it's quite a busy pattern on this side, and then you turn it over, and can you see that very subtle pattern there? Fantastic. So I'm using that one. Here's another paper that I've used. I think I've actually used this either just as a sample or on a video before. Absolutely love those beautiful yellow tones. That'd be really good for if you were doing like a paddock or something like that as a scrapbook page. That'd be amazing. There's also, let's have a look, I've got some other papers here, and it's got a yellow on the back, so you could do a amazing technique on that one. So those are just a few of the papers from the Regal Winter DSP, and I'll pop the links in the description so that you know where to find those. Now I'm also using a stencil that I have that I purchased from Close to My Heart many years ago. This is a well-loved stencil, as you can probably see. I have a lot of stencils, or you can even make your own stencils if you have a Cricut machine. So that's that one. I'm just trying to get a little bit more light in. I'm still struggling with my lighting, friends. One day I'll get it sorted, you never know. I'm also using the Shimmery White embossing paste from Stampin' Up. I have also on other samples that I'm going to show you, I've used Ranger texture paste there as well, and I absolutely love texture paste. It's one of my favorite mixed media things to use. I just find that you can do so many things with texture paste. But anyway, I'm new to the Shimmery White embossing paste, and I have a feeling I'm going to love that too. I've got a palette knife. I have some baby wipes because you're going to need to clean up a little bit. I'm using my my glass mat, which I absolutely adore. It's a fantastic tool in my craft room. You can also use an all-purpose mat if you have that, or a cutting board, those plastic cutting boards, or even just a piece of plastic, something that you can wipe up because this gets a bit messy. I'm using washi tape to adhere down the stencil, because we're going to put the shimmery paste over it, so I would like it quite well adhered, so quite well held down. Now this stencil is a little bit old, it's getting a little bit warpy, but that's okay, that's all right. I don't mind as long as I do things slowly like that, in a slow motion. It is not too bad. So let's get this paste out. Now it comes, this in mine, this came apart, but that's okay, that's not a big deal. I just pushed it down, and I'm keeping this foil, I'm keeping that actually on because I find that I'm hoping that it will actually then help keep the paste. In my texture paste here, when I've opened it, I've actually put in some cling film or Glad wrap scrunched up on top of it, but that's because the texture paste is quite a bit more solid than this. This is like chocolate mousse, if you know what chocolate mousse is like, or hair mousse, but I'm into food, so I'm comparing it to chocolate mousse. So it has a whipped consistency. It's kind of like Winker Stella and texture paste had a baby, and then you whipped it up with beaters and aerated it. That's kind of what I am comparing it to. So anyway, I can't put Glad wrap on that. So I'm hoping that having this little thing here still on will keep the paste nice and moist and won't harden it. So I am lifting up a little bit at a time, and I am just spreading it over my card panel, nice and easy there. And it's just like spreading butter on a piece of toast, perhaps, but a little bit more liberally than maybe you would spread butter. I taught my little granddaughter yesterday how to spread butter on her crumpets, and she was quite happy with learning a new skill. They're gorgeous when children are that age and they soak everything up. It's fantastic to be able to teach them something. Now, can you see it's not too thick? I'm not heaping it on, but I'm not doing a really, really fine pass either. I think on other applications, I would wipe off half of this and just have a really, really thin layer. But for this one, because I actually do want a bit of texture on there, and as you can see, I've not covered the whole card front with the texture paste, or what's it called, with the Shimmery White embossing paste. I wanted to leave a little bit on the edges, and that's just because that's the effect that I want. And I'm wiping off my palette knife, getting every little last bit back in there so that I am not wasting anything, because we don't want to waste our supplies, do we, friends? We pay enough for them. We want to keep them as much as possible, or use them as frugally as possible, I guess you could say. So then I'm putting the foil back over it, and then I'm making sure the lid goes on nice and snugly, and hopefully that will maintain the integrity of the paste. So now I'm getting out my wipe. Oh, sorry friends, getting out a few wipes at a time and wiping down my palette knife just so that it's nice and ready for next time. As you can probably see from this palette knife, it's well used, and I don't always do that. Then off camera, well later on, I'm going to take this to the sink and pop it in the sink and wash it down. Usually I do that straight away, but I don't want to pause the video, so I'm going to keep going. Now I'm going to put that aside to dry. I would generally leave it overnight, so I don't know how long it actually takes to dry. If you wanted to speed up the process, you could actually use a heat gun and speed up the process that way. But can you see the nice shimmer on that? I'm not sure if you can. Hopefully. Let's turn this light on and highlight it. Can you see this, friends? How shimmery that is. Okay, there we go. Let's leave this light on, and oh, there's too much shadow, so let's not do that. But beautiful, beautiful shimmer on that. Let's turn that off so we don't have the shadow and it doesn't annoy you. Also, I've just seen a little bit of paste here, so we don't want to get that on the project that I have already on the panel that I've already dried for you, so that we can get on with our making. Okay, so I'm also going to just wipe down my surface with a paper towel so that we've got everything in place, and so that I can work on this lovely card panel that I've already got dried. Now, I might just show you. Can you see how shimmery this is? It's absolutely gorgeous, friends. Really, really beautiful. It dries really well. It doesn't the glitter does not come off in my hands. So I'm just going to adhere this card panel to my card until a card base, and I'm just going to get the adhesive because I forgot to bring that out. There we go, friends. And this is quite strong adhesive. You could use glue if you wanted to, but I find that the Stampin' Seal is actually quite a strong adhesive, so I'm quite happy to put that in. Now it has warped my paper a little bit because it's not watercolor paper, but that's all right. I don't mind. I've just adhered the adhesive all around the edges and it's not too bad, but I don't mind that because this is a handmade card. As you can maybe see on the edges, see there, it's not completely flat, but that's all right, friends. Maybe I could have put a bit more adhesive down here. Maybe I'll just do that now. There we go. That should solve that problem. Just adhere the adhesive all around the edges and you'll be fine. So I'm going to use the Tags Ephemera pack from Stampin' Up. Now these are just basically a bunch of tags that come in an ephemera pack, and I use the ephemera packs quite a lot on my projects because it's just nice and easy to add a bit of interest. So I'm going to use 2 little pieces, and I am going to pop a happy birthday sentiment on there in black ink. Let's have a look. So I'm using the Garden Meadows happy birthday because it's quite small, and this little tag spot here is quite small. So as you can see, this happy birthday is very well loved. Happy birthday. So I'm going to pop that down here. Let's go. And I'm going to, instead of, because it's a small block, and this is the one on my desk at the moment, that's why I'm using it. I do have the Memento black. I have quite a few different black ones, but at the moment I had been using this one for another project, edge distressing with black, and I use these little spots, little ink spots for when I do edge distressing. So that was on my desk, so that's why I'm going to use that one. And I'm just going to pop it down, pop the ink down on, and just leave it for a couple of seconds. There's no hurry to bring it up. You can just bring it, there we go, and perfect. So I find if you hold the block and the stamp on your paper for a couple of seconds, you get a better impression. Also, these cling stamps, photopolymer stamps from Stampin' Up, they stamp absolutely beautifully, so I don't usually have an issue with them. So let's go and adhere again, and I'm going to adhere it kind of, I'm going to turn it around that way. I'm going to adhere it sort of in the middle. I do want to pop this embellishment up, this sentiment up, and the reason why I want to pop it up, even though it already has dimension, is because I want to put some gold thread behind it. And I always find that if you've got gold thread, it is better to pop it up, but that's just my personal preference. I'm going to put a lot of this on because it's quite textured on here, so I don't want this sentiment popping off, and I'm just using the dimensionals to pop this up, and I'm using the leftovers I have from my card kit. I find that with the kits you get a bit more supplies in adhesive wise than what you actually need, so I always use those dimensionals and those little glue dots that I have left over from those projects. I just pop them on my desk and use them whenever needed, and then I can put the rest in the bin when I've finished, so I'm not keeping a lot of stuff out. So I find when I've got a cluttered desk, I have a cluttered mind. Is that how you feel, friends? Or do you like to be surrounded by all your things on your desk and right in your view, and then that gives you creativity? How do you feel, friends? Leave Let me know in the comments. Okay, so we've got, as you can see, I have got a lot of dimensionals on there, and I feel like they're free dimensionals because I got them in the kit. I use the kit well, if that makes sense. I don't always make sense. I'm okay about that. So I'm just getting off all of the top of the dimensionals. There we go. And I use a pair of tweezers. It's simply because I have arthritis in my hands, and recently I've had difficulty doing the things I used to do, and peeling off this is one of those things. So I just like to make life a little bit easier for myself where I can, and using tweezers is a great idea. I'm finding that much easier to do the things I need to do. Okay, so we've got the adhesive here, we've got the card panel. Now we want this gold thread. It's not absolutely necessary, but I feel because we've got the card, it's beautiful. I don't want to add too much to it. I have got the sentiment, so I just want something a little bit extra. So I'm going to pull this gold thread out. I assume I got it from close to my heart. I can't speak to that 100% because I've taken it out of the packet and just popped it into a box. Now, I think I need it to be a bit bigger than that. So I was actually using 3 fingers to go around my hand. I think I need 4 because the panel's a little bit bigger. And so let's just do this, twist it in the middle. There we go. And then I twist it in the middle and then just pop it on the back like that. It pokes out a little bit, which is just what I want. I just don't want that poking out that much though. So let's pop that there. There we go. Oh, perfect. And I'm going to not pop it in the center of the card because at the moment I'm really liking using this orientation of actually putting sentiments and things down the bottom and letting the top half showcase the treatment that I've done to the card. So there you go. There's my lovely card that I've made with the texture paste. Now I'm just going to turn this on. There we go. And hopefully you can see a little bit better the shimmer and the shine of that beautiful embossing paste from Stampin' Up. Like I said, everything I've used today I will pop in the comments. I hope you've enjoyed this video, friends. Nice and quick one today, and I hope you have a great day wherever you are. Until next time, friends, happy crafting. Bye.